Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, we'll be talking about the transit moon making a square opposition or inconjunct to one's natal Uranus. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve the moon, they could be about emotions, feelings, needs, responses, reactions, the public. And when you have the transit moon basically making an adverse aspect to the natal Uranus, well, this can manifest in emotions, feelings, needs, responses, our reactions, public, and that might conflict right now at that point. Well, when you have that transit conflict with freedom and independence, um, it may be that you might not want to be around, feel like being around the public because it might even be isolation in some cases. You might want to, or just simply want to do things that you want to do, and it may be independently. It's also, Uranus is about our friendships as well, and the thing about this is there might be an emotional need to free ourselves and extricate ourselves from our friends at this time, from society. You might even feel that you may be ostracized by society at this time, which may of course cause you to feel somewhat despondent or lonely. But anyway, what I want to say is that keep in mind, I mean, these transits do not last that long. They do come frequently, but they only last about 10 hours on because if you're using a 3-degree applying aspect and a 2-degree separation aspect, of course that's 5 degrees total, and the moon moves about 1 degree every 2 hours. But you do get a number of them because keep in mind the moon, it takes less than a month for the moon to traverse all 12 zodiac signs. So you're getting like 5 of these transits every month. You're going to have 2 squares, an opposition, and 2 inconjunct aspects. Now, another thing though is to keep in mind Uranus is also about groups. So you might feel like at this time getting away from groups if your natal Uranus is in Sagittarius as an example. It could be religious, philosophical, sports groups, or it could be people that you're friendly with that are foreigners at this time. Uranus is also connected with what is unorthodox or unusual. So it could be a time for you where you might not feel or really have the need to do something, that is unconventional. You might be sticking more, with the true and the tried. I mean, if you're it might be the time where even if you have like a household, cleaning robot, you may not want to use it at this time. It might be the time when you just want to do things on your own and you can stick with the conventional way of cleaning and taking care of chores around the house as an example. Now, Uranus is also can be connected with rebellion. So it might be a time where it could be a home or a family member, someone you're close to home with. It could be a prominent female in your life scheme. It could be overly rebellious, or it could simply be, that they may be, requiring, their time away. They might not feel like they're getting enough freedom at this time, and it could also be a time too. I mean, Uranus is about ingenuity as well, and it might be a time where you're not again going back to what's unorthodox. You might not really be so much into things that are innovative at this time, and really feel that need to do anything that is connected with it at this time. Anything new, that could be something you might be adverse to. And the thing about this too is it could also be, shocking behavior, uh, could be emotionally upsetting at this time. Say if you have your natal Uranus in your 5th house, it could be by children or by lovers, or maybe somebody that you're, in some you share some kind of enjoyment with, or a hobby or a sport even. Um, Now, anatomically speaking, Uranus is connected with the ankles, the shins, the calves, the nerves, circulation. So if you have any problems with any of these things I stated, it may be more emotionally upsetting, more so than usual. If you have some nerve damage, I mean, I have irrevocable nerve damage. I have my natal Uranus, very tight conjunction to my sixth house cusp in my natal chart. And when you have a transit like this could be something that could cause a little more emotional upsetment, more so than usual. If you, especially if you already have, you know, any of these conditions that I described. And it's important just be careful about accidents around the home at this time, more so than usual. Uranus is very unpredictable energy, to say the absolute least. The moon of course is connected with the home. um, Also, shocks and electricity in the home might be more greater propensity for that, more so than usual at this time. Your own responses might be shocking to others more so than usual, and or maybe you're describing your feelings about something may surprise people. um, Uranus is also connected with astrology, so it might be a time, you know, if you are an astrologer, you might not be feeling like doing anything astrological this time, or anything that could be associated with Uranus. It could be something with computers or electronics or astronomy, anything with innovation, aerospace. Those things might be something that you just might not be emotionally up for at this time. And it could be a time too where your sleep may be disrupted. Keep in mind the moon is associated with the unconscious. Uranus is connected, of course, with disruptions. It's very erratic and sporadic energy. But the thing about this too is that you are, in many instances, when you have this transit, you will be asleep, or at least asleep for part of the duration of the transit, because remember, the transit lasts about 10 hours, and there's 24 hours in a day. Most people on average may sleep about 7 hours. I don't know what it is exactly, 7 or 8 hours a night, maybe. So you understand, you could do the math. So anyway, well, at this time, it could be another way this could manifest and pan out. This could be a time where a family member or someone you're close to home with, the mother, prominent female in your life scheme, may conflict with your freedom and independence. Say if the transit moon is in Leo, as an example, it could be a very domineering, attention-seeking mother or family member at this time, may be conflicting with things that you want to do, you know, as far as freedom-related matters go, your independence, what you want to do, maybe things by yourself. Um, the thing about this transit is that, keep in mind, the moon can be connected with past memories. Now, past memories in some cases may impede you from basically taking your future. Uranus is associated with the future. Um, Now, if the transit moon is in Taurus, as an example, it could be some issues with complacency or stability, or having some strong aversion to change, being overly stagnant. Might be, you know, maybe matters connected with that in the past might be factoring in to you actually going after the future and moving forward at this time. Now, and it could be your monotony at home, maybe may experience some disruptions, perhaps cause unexpected emotional outbursts. Again, if the moon is in Taurus, as an example, the transit moon is in Taurus, as an example. Now, another thing is, now say if the transit moon is in Virgo, as another example, it might manifest in just lashing out strongly with a lot of criticism and being very judgmental toward others. Now, another thing, another way this transit may manifest at this time is that friends may be a little bit more aloof or detached, or might seem uncaring at this time. And there could be, because you're talking about moon is very nurturing energy and caring energy, and Uranus, of course, is associated with friendships. And you know, if you have this, you know, the transit of the moon basically making an adverse aspect to natal Uranus, well, the friendships may be hard pressed to be feeling that nurturing energy at this time, and the caring energy. And the thing is, they might not be around for emotional support at this time. Now, another thing too is that there may be greater propensity for problems with computers or electronic devices, which is Uranus, and that could be in the home, and the moon, of course, is associated with the home. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now if Uranus is in Capricorn as an example, it could be an older appliance. Capricorn is about old age, and it could be an older, computer. Maybe it's something, maybe somebody's got a Commodore 64 computer at home, and that they enjoy using, in contrast to perhaps using a more modern internet compatible computer, basically. So those are some ways this could manifest on planet. Remember, keep in mind that this transit does not last very long. I don't see it as overly significant. It's only about 10 hours on average, but you do have them frequently. Remember that the moon is also connected with the stomach, and Uranus can be about nerves, so you might be feeling, sometimes it can be, some kind of, nerve-related thing you might be feeling in the chest or stomach area at this time. I've had some problems in the past where I felt like some kind of like tingling or a little shock sensation in my stomach area, and again, I do have my Uranus making a very close natal Uranus, very close conjunction to my 6th house cusp of health, and where you might be feeling, maybe some, Uranus is unpredictable energy. You might be feeling some very, maybe some, pain that might be very erratic or intermittent in the stomach or chest area at this time as well. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying,